On third down, Jackson. Open man is the tight end, Nick Boyle. And they work this well upfield across the 45. A pickup of 24. And that's where the play began, the 24-yard line. This is Ingram on 1st and 10. And he's going to take this across the 50 and into Saints territory. A.J. Klein on the tackle there. And a very good offensive unit here. One of the reasons they're so good is running back Mark Ingram.
Took a little while for him to find his footing when he got into the league, but the former Heisman Trophy winner has it now and has really upped his pass receiving potential. A nice play.
And now here's a deep shot that's complete. And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. That goes for a gain of 31.
I know we love our jobs, and pretty much any play we see, we're pretty, excited about. But big plays, let's face it, that's what we absolutely live for. How about that one?
That was great, and what our camera missed was the fist pump from the sideline after that catch. They're fired out. That's a big gain. Throwing is Jackson. He's got it to Ingram, complete. And they'll work this down to the 15 for a pickup of 4. And now a look at the Saints starting defense.
Cameron Jordan is now one of those versatile defensive linemen who can play all up and down the front. Whether he's playing tackle or end, he knows how to make plays.
On second down, Ingram. And he goes backwards here, losing yardage back to the 16.
The short field shrinks even more with the type of bodies they brought in on that play. Those extra tight ends, they weren't able to secure their blocks, and that one ended up going backwards.
Jackson now to throw on third down. And that is incomplete.
Didn't have a receiver open downfield, and as it turned out, couldn't even find his outlet man because of the coverage. It was way too tight, unable to find anyone open.
And Tucker's kick right there. It's good. And the Ravens strike first at 3-zip. In the end, the opening drive, Charles, does yield points. Maybe not the touchdown that they wanted, though.
Yeah, but bottom line, they wanted to get something out of that drive, and they did that. 3 points, they won't turn that down at all.
And all that work, but he stopped where he ultimately would have been, and he's simply taken a knee, and that's the 25-yard line. Back out onto the field now comes the New Orleans offense. And the last drive, their first drive, 3 and out. What changes here, if anything?
I think it's making sure the guys that you trust the most with the ball, the biggest playmakers you have, that they touch it on this possession to try and get things moving.
So get it to the horses.
Without a doubt. They're the ones that typically end up in the end zone.
The last run got 3. Now here's 2nd and 7. Breeze leaves this one with Kamara. A pickup of about 3 yards as he's taken down at the 31.
And that's one of the reasons you like to blitz even on rundowns. It confuses the blocking assignments. It doesn't allow those offensive linemen to get up to the second level.
Ready, yellow lady. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
From the gun on third down, Breeze. That's to his running back. It's Alvin Kamara. And he went nowhere. He'll lose yardage back to the 29. 4th down now after a loss of 2.
Well, the good thing about covering any game I do with you is I know that there's no problem with rhythm. Now, what we're watching offensively, a little bit of a problem there.
Yeah, punt on the first drive, looking at another one here. Just a little slow. And, they were talking about a fast start, but that hasn't been the case.
Yeah, and let's face it, any team we cover always talks about a fast start.
That's true.
But it's not necessarily going to happen just because they say so. And whether it's the script, whether it's, just what they're going through, whether they're seeing different defenses, they're going to have to figure it out as this game moves on.
And now Baltimore gets set to take the field. They've got a 3-0 lead and the football as they start 1st and 10. Jackson fakes the give and keeps it toward the center of the field, but it's incomplete. Hollywood Brown, the intended receiver.
I should have picked that.
Showed me
I should have picked that.
we set records, and I will not forget it.
You should have picked that.
Heard your voices in the campaign, and I look forward to working with you in the years to come. Today is Martin Luther King Day, and it's
That'll bring up second down. Quick throw taken in by Snead. And he'll be taken down for a loss back at the 3. That's a big loss of 3, and it brings up third down.
All right, let's go ahead and detail this situation here. 3rd and long coming up, back near your own goal line. I would be very hesitant about throwing the football in this situation.
Maybe just run up the middle?
Yeah, I think that might be the spot for them. You got to try and find some space for your punter because you don't want him backed up where he has to alter what he does.
And they're going to drop him well shy of the 1st as he can only make it to the 11th. He did well to get him 8 yards, but it's still going to mean a call to the punt team on 4th down. But just like you said, they've got the lead, don't do anything silly, run the football, and that's what they did.
They would have liked to have created a little more room for their punter, but he'll take what they gave him, and he'll go out there now and try and get the ball off and help his defense.
On is the punter, Cook, who sends it away. Sherrills to return it. Give him 11 yards that time on the return. And the Saints will take over with a 1st down and 10. Out onto the field comes New Orleans. They've had it twice. They've punted twice. Not the start they were hoping for.
Not at all, and let's face it, every facility we visit, everyone talks about converting on 3rd down, how big that is. In this situation, they've had to punt it away twice, so they're furiously going over things on the sidelines. What do we need to do to pick up a 1st down and change our momentum? The goal of anyone running a curl route is to make sure you try and get defenders on your back and shield them away from the football. But sometimes, even when you run a good route, the defense finds a way to knock it out.
To throw again, second down, Breeze. This is Clayton again. The reception gets you 7. It's 3rd down.
One thing should help yourself when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he get a good head of steam going.
And he's got the 1st down before being taken down at the 46. Give him the 3rd down conversion, 5 yards on the play.
It's amazing how much advice defensive players get on 3rd down. You hear the bench screaming out, watch the draw, watch the screen, watch the pass here. Very rarely do they reference watching the fullback, and he slipped through and picked up a 1st down.
Breeze now on 1st down. He's got his all-pro receiver, Michael Thomas. And he's got this down to the 35. The Saints 1st down there on a gain of 11.
Pardon me, this is one of the best routes anyone can have in their offensive playbook. Tough to defend because you think it's a go route, and then he breaks it back on the comeback. There's one other thing you need as well.
A well-thrown ball.
Exactly right. You have a guy who has some precision in throwing the football because of the timing of the route.
And they'll get this one to about the 20-yard line. He'll get 15 and a Saints 1st down. Getting the sense, Charles, they're going to put a big emphasis this afternoon on the run game.
And why not? What we're seeing so far, working pretty well from them. And here's the best part. We always talk about the best performers do their job when the lights come on. I think he likes natural light best.
Into the red zone, it's Breeze. Back of the end zone, could he get his feet down? No, it's incomplete.
Once you get into the red zone and the safeties have less ground to cover, you better be quick with your delivery. Not much space to get a ball in there.
Yeah, when that field shrinks with those safeties, it's almost like there's a couple extra defenders out there, right?
It certainly is. They end up taking up extra space just because there's not enough space for receivers to run through.
Flushed out right. He'll run it, and he'll get nothing out of that one. All in all, no gain on the play, and it'll bring up 3rd.
But there was pressure all around him, so the only play was to try and get out of there. I think it was an excellent effort by him just to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Here's Breeze. And Gibbs got it. And all the way down inside the 5 to the 4. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal.
Nice catch right there. Brings to mind the sentence, when in doubt, find your veterans.
He used to laugh back in the day when they would call guys like him crafty veterans. You get up in your 30s, you're still playing receiver, but you're around that long at that position, you're doing something right.
Just remember.
Got a man open. It's Thomas. It's a touchdown for New Orleans. 4 yards on the touchdown grab. And the Saints have taken the lead. There was no going through the progressions on that touchdown pass.
Yeah, nor was it necessary. His receiver won that route early, presented himself. No reason to wait. Go ahead and put it on him and score a touchdown.
Now he's back out there to boom this one away, maybe with some frustration after the PAT miss. This is taken about 7 yards deep. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Now the Baltimore offense heading back out onto the field. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means you're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of first downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Yeah, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here. Now a first down run is sniffed out from the start as they'll drop him for a loss of 4. It's a loss of 4 there, bringing up second down. Plays like we just saw there. That's why they're up right now. And the defense, they're doing their job.
Yeah, it starts with the guys up front. So when you talk with GMs who are putting together a team, a lot of them say we're going to build from the inside out because you control the...
Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. A.J. Klein coming in hard that time on the blitz, and he gets him down. It's a loss of 4. Now after that sack, it's 3rd and long for Jackson and the Ravens. Jackson. And that'll be incomplete. Well, they took their shot all right, but it comes up empty, and it's 4th down.
Well, he bounced up after taking a sack and took a shot downfield. I think a lot of us thought maybe he'd run draw in that situation. Instead, tried to get all back in one play.
Yeah, 3rd and long, thought he needed the deep pass, couldn't connect it.
Maybe he was hoping for a penalty downfield to give him the yardage they needed.
A well-hit ball there. 50 yards on the punt, 3 on the return. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. Back out onto the field now comes the New Orleans offense. Ball up to the 35 now as they come up on 1st and 10. Working from the gun, it's Breeze. Ball batted in the air, and now it's intercepted. Picked off by Marlon Humphrey, and they'll set up shop right near midfield at the 49-yard line.
That was a really nice interception. I think it illustrates the differences between playing man and playing zone. When you're in man, all you're focused on is the receiver in front of you. But when you're in zone, you're allowed to read the quarterback's eyes and go to the ball. That's exactly what happened on that play.
And now Baltimore gets set to take the field. And they're coming off a 3-and-out, my friend.
I think they've got to look at that play sheet and go to a spot that they haven't gone before. Time to shake things up a little bit to try and get this offense moving.
Okay, so how do you do that? How do you shake things up?
You look at what you called before, realize it hasn't worked
Go to
so
something
well,
else.
and maybe you try and find one of those special plays for one of your better players, and maybe try and hit something big and get things going in the excitement area.
They'll run on 1st down. It's Ingram, and he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. And our statistician, Ben Ramsauer, just held up 3 fingers to remind me he now has 3 tackles for a loss rolling in the 1st quarter.
Well, Ben's got it detailed perfectly. He always gives us the right stats. I'd love to be on the offense's headset right now because what you're hearing is, can someone please block him? Come up with a scheme. Come up with something. Make sure you block him because he's disrupting everything. Barney sold the go route really well. Thought he was going deep, then curled it back inside for a nice completion.
DB's when they pummel the brakes, don't they?
Yeah, that's really the whole line. It's almost like he said, listen, you're going to sell the go, just go. Let's see who's faster.
Could be 4-down territory even if they don't get this, but they need just a few inches here on 3rd. They'll try to run for the first with Ingram. And he works it past the 30, almost to the 25. That one good for 13 and a Raven first down.
Usually we see runs like this as the defense breaks down later in the game, but this guy is setting the tone early, running through all types of tackles and put the defense back on its heels.
Ingram again, a first down carry. And not a lot of daylight, not really any daylight inside as he's going to be stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Brings up second down. On second down now, it's Ingram. And he gets it inside the 10 to the 9. 6-3 is our score after one. It's the NFL on EA Sports. They'll run here with Ingram. And he'll take it into the end zone for a Ravens touchdown. A 9-yard touchdown run. And the Ravens have retaken the lead.
I know we don't talk about it enough, but the intelligence level of the guys up front blocking, the offensive linemen, maybe the smartest guys in football overall. Add in a little bit of athleticism and a whole lot of toughness, you've got a lot to deal with, don't you?
That's why the guys in the backfield get them really nice Christmas gifts, right?
If they're smart, they do.
Tucker able to connect on the extra point, and that will make this a 4-point game. That time a 6-play drive, and it's Mark Ingram who caps it off with a touchdown run. Tucker now to kick it away following the touchdown. Fielded about a yard deep. And he'll wind up getting an extra couple yards here for his trouble as he'll bring this one out to the 27. Drew Brees getting ready to go again on offense. But Charles, it's the second quarter. Your team's losing. You're not playing well as the quarterback, but like I said, it's the second quarter. So how worried right now are you?
You're concerned, but you're not panicked because you know there's still an opportunity. No one's excited about his stat line right now. 1 touchdown pass, okay, that's cool, but he's throwing an interception as well. Can he eliminate the mistakes and keep making the positive plays, the good plays? That's what they're looking for from him.
Time to find out if he can do just that. From the 29, Brees again has it complete. He's going to get this all the way down inside the 35. Boy, he ran free there after the catch as that winds up going for 38.
Well, partner, I'm not sure how this drive's going to end, but how about the way they flip field position there? A nice attacking play that picked up a heck of a chunk of yardage.
So the big play changes the complexion of things. Here's 1st and 10 just outside the 30. Shotgun now for Brees. Throwing the comeback route. He's got the hook up to Thomas. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. It'll be a Saints first down on a gain of 16 yards.
And another thing that makes a comeback route really effective is that oftentimes after you've made the initial move, receivers breaking away from the defensive back, and that makes it a really tough play to defend. A nice chunk of yardage picked up there.
Brees now 7 of 10 here in this first half, and he's got a 1st and 10. Now Kamara. And he's able to work it here to the 8-yard line. 10 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be second down.
On any explosive run, you can almost feel the ground shaking, and that's from the offensive linemen creating space for their runners. I had an old coach tell me before, that he always told his runners, run around the offensive line in pregame.
And he'll take it into the end zone for the Saints touchdown. An 8-yard touchdown run, and the Saints have retaken the lead. And there you go, nothing really too complex. Block, keep to your assignments, let them run it in. They did it.
Fundamental football. Good blocking, beats good tackling on that play, and result, touchdown.
Now Sean Payton going to say, let's go for 2 on this one. And that is caught for the 2 points. So they go with a pass there on the two-point try and able to convert it, Charles.
And a good job by the offense figuring out their two-point play and using it well. It's interesting how people are using the strategy nowadays, though, isn't it?
It really is, and I don't know how much that particular play factored in, but with the PAT moving back in 15-16, that kind of changed things, didn't it?
It's really a part of everyone's strategy now. When I talk with coaches and when we sit with them, they always talk about they actually had two-point periods in practice now, something they never really did before.
After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. This is fielded at the goal line. And he will be marked down right there at the 20-yard line. And we shift our attention to Mark Ingram. He's been good. They've utilized him well, but they're losing here in the second quarter. What might they change offensively?
I think that what you try and do is expand how you get the ball to him a little bit. Get him out in open space, maybe swing the ball to him. What's that they used to call in the West Coast offense, the long handoff? Yeah. Serve as your running play that way, as well as continue to feed him the football. Some of these runs now may pop bigger later in the game because of the effects of running it. Sometimes people after a while, they don't want to tackle him anymore, or they get tired, or they get out of position, or he runs through tackles. Continue to feed him the ball. He's having that kind of game.
Yeah, might they get him the ball in some space in some different ways here. And he's going to lose yards. They take him down at the 26. That's going to go as a loss of 4, and it'll be second down. He came out ready to play. That's 3 tackles for a loss, Charles. We're only in the second quarter.
And that's problematic for the guys trying to run offense because that means he's got a pretty good idea of what they're doing and is actually beating them to the point of attack and making those plays. Not to think about some misdirection or something to try and get him away from the ball.
The Ravens on third down. 2 for 5 to this point. This is 3rd and 4. Now it's Jackson. That's into the hands of the tight end, Boyle. And he'll be taken down, but not before he works it past the 50. 16 yards on that one at a Raven first. Jackson now 7 of 10 here in this first half, and he's got a 1st and 10. From the gun, it's Jackson. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Give the sack to David Onyemata, the product of Nigeria by way of Canada. And we say it all the time, have to be able to get rid of the ball sooner than that.
You have to help your offensive line out. They're going to protect you as best they can. And if you're getting 3 to 5 seconds to throw the ball, they're doing a really nice job. But when you hold it and give up a sack, you're really almost discrediting their work.
To try again after the sack. Jackson. This will be caught by Brown. 6 yards is the pickup, and that'll lead to a 3rd down. The Ravens on 3rd down. They've hit it 50%, 3 of 6 to this point. This is 3rd and 10. They'll fake the give to Ingram. Now Jackson sliding out of the pocket. He'll wind up getting 4 yards there on his own, but it also brings up 4th down.
Now, how about that play? He took a possible negative and turned it into positive yardage and slid down to avoid taking a big shot. Excellent job getting down and avoiding the big hit.
And off the crossbar, no good. A sensational effort from that distance, but rejected by the bar. And this score will stay right where it is. All things considered, a pretty good kick, just cruel punishment there to be denied by the crossbar.
If you're going to hit from that distance, sometimes you're going to need a little luck, and unfortunately for him, this time the break goes against it.
Latavius Murray getting set to go again. We're in the second quarter. They've got the lead. The lead, though, not so much.
Upon what I see, what I hear, how things are operating. Look at this here. All of these. Donald Trump said, I will end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours. Damn.
Because of the ground game, because of their air attack, Charles.
So what they're seeing so far is the possibility of things loosening up later in the ground game. Through the air first, maybe they have to start respecting that even more as the game goes on, and then there will be running lanes to find later.
Yeah, try to get him more involved here on this drive, maybe. Now a throw right side taken in here to start this drive. 19 yards that time for number 19.
Brandon, so many times we see the crossing route start as a quick hitter, but in this play, he had time in the pocket and waited for him to clear going across.
Breeze now, 8 of 11 in this first half. He's got it 1st and 10. Kamara. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
5-9.
On 2nd and 9, Breeze. He throws and he hits the slant route to Thomas. And he's going to be taken down with the first down at the Ravens 19.
This has to go down as one of the simplest routes in route football, but always so effective. Nice completion there. Keeps the sticks moving.
Ready. 5-8. 5-8.
A 10th carry for Kamara. And they'll get him down after a pickup of 8, 2nd and 2.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
8 yards the tally on that first down run. Here's 2nd and 2. On the ground, this is Kamara. And this time not as successful as he'll get back to the line of scrimmage and no more. He got maybe a half yard at most, but officially they'll be left with a 3rd and 2. And they'll let their fullback try and push the pile. And he's got the first down as he gets it to the 8. They only got 2, but that was enough as they'll convert to make it 1st and goal.
Football's such a game of tendencies, down and distance, and on 3rd and inches, 3rd and 1, you're thinking, yeah, the fullback's probably going to get the ball, but when you get to 3rd and 2, most of the time that's either the running back or a pass play. So that's a nice tendency breaker by the offensive team there. Hand it to their big guy to pick up a first down.
Now they'll throw with Breeze. This will be incomplete. Physical play on the football there.
Yeah,
2nd down.
I got it to him. I delivered it to him.
And saying, man, I got through prison watching you. See, y'all can sit here with that bullshit all you want to. Oh, you the bully, and y'all talking down. That is dumb as hell. Because first of all, right now, it's 50.
You got your backs in the shadow of your goal line. You've got to be physical in that situation because there's not a whole lot of space, not a lot of wild plays that can be run there.
It's put up or shut up time. Defensively, nice job just to make sure they didn't complete it on that play. A minimal gain there on the 8th play of the drive. Defensively, I think they can smell a stop. Ball right around the 5 here brings up 3rd.
And I think what they've done is they put doubt in the minds of the offensive guys. What do we do? Because now you don't have a go-to play. Either side they pick, throwing it, running it, it won't be easy.
And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, New Orleans. From 6 yards away. And the Saints able to stretch that lead out further.
The tight end position has always been dangerous, especially in the red zone, short field. But now even more so because these tight ends aren't necessarily the tight ends of old. They're the rocked-up wide receivers who have a little bit more speed. Way harder to cover than before.
Lutz will look to add the extra point. And he atones for his miss the first time around as this one is up and good to extend their lead. A good drive that time as they go 9 plays in all. And it all culminates in a Saints touchdown. After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And the decision to bring it out will cost him about 5 yards as he'll get this only back to the 20. Now the Baltimore offense heading back out onto the field. And the last go-around for them, they tried that really, really long field goal, couldn't connect.
And in retrospect, I think a lot of people would say, well, why would you try one that long? You hurt yourself in field position. The ball comes out, there. That only helps the other team. But I look at it as maybe it was a double shot of confidence. Confident the kicker could make it. And even if he missed, confident in their defense that they could hold him.
On 2nd and 9, Jackson. He's going to find his tight end, Boyle. That catch good for 5. It's 3rd down.
And, partner, I think that's a great example that not all tight ends are created equal. Because everything was right. Got the completion, but he's not one of the more dynamic guys in the league. So even though he caught it, couldn't turn it into much more.
Now a 3rd down throw, but it misses the target, incomplete. You can tell they were hoping for a flag there offensively. Several on the sideline motioning, hey, why not a penalty? Why not a penalty? What did you see?
Yeah, I think you've got to let them play, and the officials are instructed. If there's contact coming from both sides, no flag. Let them fight it out.
And forces 4th down. Here's Sam Cook now as he's on to punt for Baltimore. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. Here's Sherrills. A very good return that time. 18 yards. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. Drew Brees getting ready to go again on offense. And he's looked pretty good. Does have the 1 interception, but 2 touchdown passes so far.
So much of it, Roland. We saw so much of it over, this administration, especially during those 107 days with Kamala. There was so much debate. There were people that were mad that she spent a lot of time at the HBCUs, that it was too elite, that it was too much about Divine Nine. Okay.
They'll take the offset. When you talk about throwing 2 touchdown passes, no one wants to see an interception thrown, but those things happen in the course of a ball game and over the course of the season. But throwing 2 touchdown passes, that's why the team has an advantage. That's what they're looking for more of.
They'll be hoping to make it a 3-to-1 ratio. And he fires one that's intercepted. Picked up by a former first-round pick, Shane Ray. And the return here will go to the 31-yard line. You don't see this often. A quarterback of his caliber, 2 first-half interceptions.
It's absolutely surprising because it happens so rarely. You're searching for what reason, what's going on out there. It's not just maybe the defense is playing well. Is his horoscope off? His biorhythms? What is it?
You went horoscope on us, David.
Well, I was thinking maybe REM sleep was off. I'm trying to come up with something.
Anything, right?
Check. I got you.
Throwing on 2nd down. Jackson got a man. It's Brown. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. 12 yards to pick up there. Good for a Raven first. And he is into the end zone for a Baltimore touchdown. An 18-yard touchdown run as his guys are back within a single score. So they're down in the red zone. They opt to utilize his legs instead of the arm. It works out pretty well.
I like what they were thinking there because in most situations now, defense is accounting for all the other runners on the field and, of course, the pass plays. But the quarterback position, oftentimes it is unaccounted for. Offense coordinator felt it, dialed it right up.
Inside the red zone, is this something teams should maybe, depending on the quarterback, do more often?
Definitely. If you've got a quarterback who can actually move it with his legs, that's an extra option and an extra weapon for you. I think they should utilize it more often.
Out onto the field comes New Orleans. And last time wasn't pretty. 1 play and an interception. We'll see if they can do better.
I want to see if they want to go ahead and throw the ball again now on this drive after what happened on the last one. Throw it on the first play. Give the quarterback some confidence.
See what happens. There's a ball thrown right side and complete. A really nice gain of 25 yards. So in the second quarter, he's already up over 100 yards receiving now.
And isn't 100 the magic number for a really good game for a receiver? So he got a chance to really shatter that and have a profound effect on this game.
A reminder coming up here at halftime. We'll ship you off to Orlando. Jonathan Coachman will have first-half highlights and analysis from a back-and-forth first half that we've seen. And here's a throw that's taken in by the tight end Cook. And he's corralled at the 40, but not before picking.
I saw that shit. I saw that shit was covered. That shit was covered. I saw it. Watch.
There's bigger and broader, and actually,
see, it ain't gonna work because he's coming back. See, he's gonna come back. That's gonna fuck it up.
You want to contribute giving Cash App? You can stripe QR code.
You gotta be right on it.
And if you are listening, go to BlackStarNetwork.com to check it out. Also, if you want to see your checking money order, some of y'all old school, you understand that. Your checking money order to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. PayPal, R. Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RN Unfiltered. Zelle.
8 yards on the pickup. Brings up second and 2.
Facing a second and 2 after that last catch. Good for 8 yards. Now Breeze. Thomas has got it. Complete. The Saints first down there on a gain of 11. So first and 10 now from the 30. Again, they'll throw with Breeze. And he fires one incomplete. The target that time, Michael Thomas. But it'll be second down. Well, the incompletion, yes, but maybe here not the worst thing in the world?
No, not on first and 10. Actually gives them a chance to regroup, relax just a little bit. They huddle up, talk it over. Then they get a chance to continue their drive.
It's brought in right side by Ginn. And he's going to be taken down with the first down at the Ravens' 12-yard line. Now a first down carry. It's Kamara. And he'll be taken down here at about the 11. Pernell McPhee in there on the stop. On second and 9. Breeze. And he's got him. It's caught in the end zone. Touchdown, New Orleans. Drew Brees does it again. 3 first-half touchdown passes for him now. And the Saints able to stretch that lead out further. And that'll give them a 2-score lead here, but I'm looking ahead. They just want to hold it for the final moments here in the second quarter. They don't want to give up anything on the other side.
No, not because if they don't, it almost had the field and imposing their score. And right now, they want to make sure they keep that and carry it into the second half.
So this drive spans 7 plays, and it ends with a touchdown for New Orleans. After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. And now Baltimore gets set to take the field. And you're under a minute to go in the half. The first half that hasn't been particularly kind to you. How do you think they'll play this?
Well, I think the smart approach is to run out the clock, lick your wounds at the half, and see if you can...
Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. David Onyemata gets him for a loss of 8. What great push up front.
I'm starting to feel for that quarterback back there. I mean, you know me. Normally, don't have a lot of empathy for the QB, right? In this case, definitely been on constant duress this entire game. I don't know how he's surviving back there.
And to think, there's still a long way to go in this football game. So we have reached halftime here in an 11-point contest. As we'll send you down to Orlando, we check in with Jonathan Coachman for our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
All right, Brandon, thanks very much. Welcome, everybody, to our abbreviated version of the EA Sports Halftime Report. Back and forth, we win in that first half. This has certainly been an entertaining one to watch thus far. Let's get right back out to it, as we'll rejoin our commentators, Brandon Gaudin and Charles Davis.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3.
it's a kind of like, to be very candid, I don't think that the folks who have uniforms on, or the wearing uniform, they really should not be speaking out because, one, that's almost like a preemptive strike against something that they don't know for a fact to be either illegal or immoral yet. The driving idea behind the separation of the military from the civilian force is called this thing called Pacta Comitatus. It puts the civilians in charge of this. In fact, I love Ronald Darby's rest in peace. He, a former Marine, made this statement to General Sullivan, he retired, that he was going to become the most powerful member of America when he retired, because the civilian force does command the military. That's fair, and that's how it should be. At the same time, we are not the interface, and there are multiple reasons why we should not interface in a direct way. You know, Big U from the forum talked about how he wants to make sure we don't put people easy with homies. We don't want homies trying to run other homies. It's hard. And similarly, what you're going to have is your civilians who've now been trained, Army, Marine Corps, Space Force, Air Force, Navy, now trained coming back in with their own ideology and trying to run the neighborhoods, or under somebody else's leadership running it with that kind of training. That's part one. The other thing is that our job is to fight and win the nation's wars. You don't want someone whose job is to get in that zone, identify a threat, make an enemy, and to be fair, kill it and win. Kill him or her and win. That's a mindset. And so what we have to make sure that we don't do is let someone who takes this collective weapon and use it against civilians, because that's not their job. You know, God bless the guys who put the uniforms on as policemen, sheriffs, because they have learned, and over time, how to de-escalate. That's what Governor Newsom, he's seen riots before. His people have seen riots before. And they know how to...
To your point, the police chief of the LAPD has said, no, we did not request troops. This has not risen to the level where we need that. He also has been critical by saying that the actions even now, the troops, or the federal law enforcement officers, them firing tear gas has made their job easier. The NYPD has said the same thing. And what they've said is these federal agents, they aren't trained in that. That's not what they do. And they're like, leave that stuff up to us.
Yes. You know how to manage it. You know how to deal with people. You know, the civilian law enforcers, their practice, they walk into houses, into the hood, whereby they walk between a husband and a wife who have weapons in their hands, and they know how to de-escalate that piece, and then they know how to isolate. When you do that in foreign countries,
ghetto. He's so ghetto.
There's a transition period that they make them go through and rehearse both of the reaction. We were doing that when we were in that period of operations other than war in the late 90s. We would simply with the training processes. We keep forgetting that if you take a soldier, say a Marine, and put him in front of civilians, if that civilian responds to him before it becomes just a war. Chairman John Chiefs. He's the only person I can do that really has stepped up to, and not only that's his job to innovate between the civilian and the military. That's his job to advise. And he's clearly advised in a letter to the president that we cannot politicize our military because he saw the danger. Similar to Martin Miller, when they watch them, it's great that we have that kind of leadership still in the uniform that says we're going to a different level. You can't bring our forces like, a young Marine has indicated that he would be not so kind to anyone who stepped on him. And see, on the surface, you think that's just a young Marine. But that Marine is part of the Marine Corps. He is a friend. And after contact, soldiers, sailors, airmen who fight for each other. You can, this thing can
I like that. Oh, I like that. Give me a kiss.
So General, the thing that
oh yeah, my backbone was supposed to be coming with that thing. I'm gonna say, hold on, did I order a backbone?
No, they're not. And presidents are very careful to understand with their language because they understand that even though that person is the commander-in-chief, there's a hierarchy, there's a chain of command that the military cannot be seen as being used for partisan purposes. And the military does not identify as one of the military is about being solely American.
Both teams appear ready for the fight ahead, and we resume action here in quarter number 3. That'll be taken in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Out come the Ravens now. They'll go on offense first here in this third quarter. They have the ball here for the...
You do, I mean, in the first time, you literally had a wall there. You had individuals who said, no, we can't allow these things to happen. That wall doesn't exist. There now is a straight line from whatever is going through the mind of that idiot Trump right through decisions made at the Pentagon. And so when you're talking to your fellow retired Army officers and other members of the military, what are they saying with what they are witnessing right now?
First of all, I'm reluctant to really call the commander-in-chief any names, and we can do that because, but the reality is that
I can.
Inaugural drive of the second half. Pretty big deficit, though. We'll see what adjustments were made in that locker room.
And I never wanted to make something more important than it actually is, right? I don't want to create more hype than what is there. But this is a really, I'm doing it though. This is a really important drive. And we often talk about teams scripting plays to start a game. A lot of them script to start the second half too. And they're scripting something that they expect to get them into the end zone and back into this game.
We'll see if that script is a good one for them. A big one there for the Ravens. It goes for 18. One play has them up past the 40 already, and another 1st and 10. Jackson hit, and he lost the football.
On plays like this where the ball comes free, it's often unusual for the team that lost it to get it back because this is a quarterback. The ball gets away from him. Everyone else is trying to execute what they're supposed to do on offense. They're usually looking in the other direction, downfield, or have moved away from him. In this case, though, a teammate is able to come up with the ball.
On the draw, this is Ingram. And he's going to take this across the 50 and into Saints territory. Good work to pick up 7 yards there. That gets him into a 3rd and 1 situation. On 3rd and 1, Jackson. He's got his man. It's Andrews. And he'll go out of bounds right around the 40. And they just keep marching right along. First down on a pickup of 8 there. Jackson now, 12 of 16 thus far. It's 1st and 10. Now Ingram, he's been busy today. And they went the wrong way there. Losing yardage back at the 43-yard line. That's going to wind up a loss of a full 3 yards on first down.
If you're the coaching staff upstairs, you might want to file that play away. Did you see how fast the safety closed on that one? Coming up in run support, made a big-time tackle. Might want to try and check into a pass next time.
Yeah, got him for a loss. Really, really great play defensively. That catch good for 5. It's 3rd down. That's a staple of this offense. Drag route to the tight end.
Yeah, he's unable to use his size to break off much more yardage after the catch, but still an effective gain nonetheless.
Now Jackson. He finds Roberts, complete. And this is going to be another first down as the tackle's made at the Saints' 26.
The goal for any offense versus his own defense, find the holes where guys are available and put the ball on the receiver before any defender can step up and fill it.
They did it well there. Perfectly executed crossing route. Jackson and the offense come up 1st and 10, and he's 4 for 4 now, throwing the ball to start the drive. Now a first down run is going nowhere. He's going to be dropped in the backfield, a loss of 2. It's a loss of 2 there, bringing up 2nd down.
Perfectly designed blitz right there. They took that one from the grease board to the field because they were able to free up their linebacker to get into the backfield and spill the play.
A rare misstep on that last play because the drive has been strong, but now it's 2nd and 12. Jackson now. Outright, this is Boyle, the tight end. And he'll get it down this time to the 17. They get 11 back on that one. It leads to 3rd down. 9th play coming up here on this drive. This is 3rd and a yard. They run. It's Mark Ingram. And he'll have the first down, getting this one to the 14-yard line. It's a first down following a gain of 3.
That's a tremendous group effort there because when you talk about offensive lines, the best ones, talk about guys that play in harmony, in sync, and getting things done, and they did that on that play.
Yeah, especially on 3rd and 1. Got to be in sync, and they were. And he tried to bounce it outside, but they'll stop him behind the line. He'll wind up losing a yard on the play, and that'll bring up a 2nd and 11.
An interesting and intriguing decision there defensively because they kept extra DBs on the field despite seeing the multiple tight end look that came out for the offense.
I thought they were going to switch out of it. I didn't know if they felt they didn't have time or what the case was.
Well, in any event, the extra speed allowed for great penetration as they stuffed that one behind the line of scrimmage.
Jackson hit, and he lost the football. And this is picked up by the Saints. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. Often on fumbles, you look at the guy who coughed it up and say, geez, what did he do? But, hey, let's tip the cap to the defense here.
Not a problem at all, my man. I'm not even going to tip it. I'm going to doff my cap to him. Congratulations. Big-time play. Knocking it free and creating something good for your team.
They start the drive on the ground. Kamara. And he'll find a little space. He gets us up near the 10. It's a pickup of 4, and it'll bring up 2nd down.
3rd quarter, and you've got the lead. You're not ready to go into that 4-minute offense to close the game out, but a running game can really benefit your team right now.
The run got 4. Now they deal with a 2nd and 6. Here's Breeze to throw. He's got a man open. It's Cameron Meredith. 39 yards the distance covered on the catch and run.
Just more of the same there, partner. Guys have just been running free in the secondary this entire game. No pass rush, a lot of passes completed. Been an easy day for them.
The big play has them all the way out near midfield for a 1st and 10. They'll run. This is Kamara. And across midfield he goes into Raven territory. 5 yards is the tally on 1st down. That brings up 2nd and 5.
I call that play a success. A nice inside run sets up a very manageable 2nd down. A very solid gain on that play.
After the pickup of 5, here's 2nd and 5. Here's Breeze. Flush to his right. And he'll get it down here to the 43. He'll end up getting 5 out of that, but now they're looking at 3rd down. Could be 4-down territory even if they don't get this, but they need just a few inches here on 3rd. A man who's been busy this afternoon, it's Kamara again. And he's got the 1st down yardage before he's brought down at the 42. Officially a gain of just a yard there, but they do convert on 3rd and inches.
I know the game's changed. A lot of people would say it's evolved. Look, I'm a little bit Neanderthal, okay? I love this. No exotic formations, no misdirection. Just line up and run the dart ball, pick up the 1st down. I love it.
Yeah, 3rd and short, that's what you're supposed to do. Like you said, old school, smash mouth football.
Ready? 5-8, 5-8.
Breeze now on 1st down. And that is incomplete. He couldn't hold on through the contact. Brings up 2nd down.
That would have been a great catch, but it's real difficult to hold on to it because
sacrifice their limbs and shed their blood. See this great experiment in democracy perish from this earth. No. We, the American people, we, the American military, must never turn our back on those that came before us. And we will never turn our back on the Constitution. That is our North Star. That is who we are.
It was contested all the way. Would have been a great play if he'd been able to haul that one in.
May God bless the United States of America.
Gentlemen, it's a great guy. And we worked together actually with me for a week before that.
Ball on the 42 as they come up 2nd and 10. Breeze now. And Thomas has it. And he's going to be taken down with the 1st down at the Ravens' 27-yard line. And a good quarterback facing zone coverage. If he has just a little bit of time to survey the scene, that's what's going to happen.
No doubt about it. If there's no pressure, he's going to continue to pick them apart because he'll have all that time to find someone open downfield. You can only cover for so long. So maybe they want to go to a zone blitz scheme, get a little bit more pressure. Remember when Carolina did that against Denver? They lost the game ultimately. They dropped the defensive end out, and he ended up with an interception in that game in Super Bowl 50. Maybe some sort of scheme like that to try and get more pressure at the passer.
Back to the ground, it's Kamara. And not much of a hole there as he gets it down to about the 24-yard line. A gain of 3, 2nd down.
Brandon, all things considered, they have to feel pretty good about getting that type of a gain considering the blitz that they just had against them.
3 yards on that last carry. Here's 2nd and 7. Breeze now to throw. Under pressure, and down he goes. They sack him back at the 36.
Enough to start to have a good drive. Quite like a big loss on a sack, does it?
Now they're looking at a 3rd and long, and suddenly the momentum shifted to the other side of the football.
And old Mo is a very, very fickle man.
3rd and long now after the sack of Breeze, and the Saints up against it here. Now throwing on 3rd down there, but he cannot connect.
You hear the calls for a penalty, but I just don't think so. I think in this situation, the defender was making sure his guy couldn't hold on to the football. So I don't see anything that warranted a flag.
No, I'm with you. There was contact, but I'm happy they kept that flag in the back pocket. Here's Thomas Morstead now as he's on to punt for New Orleans. And this is going to hit the goal line and continue on into the end zone for a touchback. Now the Baltimore offense heading back out onto the field. And they'll be looking to atone for last time's mistake of fumbling inside the red zone. Certainly they don't want to do that again.
And so much emphasis placed on red zone offense. I mean, you have periods devoted in practice just for that because everyone knows how vital it is to put points on the board when you've entered that part of the field. And to come away with nothing, that's difficult for a team to handle.
Yeah, difficult, and now we'll see if they can make it less difficult on themselves on this drive. He'll get 2 on the keeper, but it becomes now a 3rd down. This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down. Jackson from the shotgun, and that is incomplete. Well, the other day they told us when we've got 3rd and 5 or less, we have to be able to convert. And I guess every team would say that, Charles, but an opportunity missed there.
What they were trying to tell us is they believe it's a matchup game at that point. And they liked some matchups that they had, thought they could exploit them, unable to do so on that play.
Officially, that'll go as a 52-yard punt. Not too shabby. And out will come the offense as they take over. Here now, a look at Drew Brees in our players' spotlight. And it's been a good game for him to this point, Charles. They're winning on the scoreboard. They got to be feeling pretty good.
And it's always fun for them when they're not just winning on the scoreboard, but they're contributing in a big way. You see him throwing touchdown passes, watching this video here. It's got to be a fun time for him and a relaxed time because nothing is pressing.
Relaxed, cool, calm, collective, all those things describing him right now. The Saints offense on the field ready to get their drive started. This crew had to punt last time they had the ball, but when you've got a lead like this, you content to play the field position game?
You are to an extent, especially if you like your defense, because you have the lead, you've been controlling the game. But why put them in a tougher spot? You want to get out there and get something done on offense and maybe take command of this game yourself.
Facing a 2nd and 2 after that last catch, good for 8 yards.
Kill. Let's set a tone, fellas. Let's set a tone. Check 9.
And I expect at some point in time there will be a
The play clock getting low, so Sean Payton says let's take a timeout. It's just their first, so 2 remaining as they burn one here in this 3rd quarter.
Ready? Yellow lady?
On 2nd down, Kamara. And the hole closes quickly there. He gets maybe a couple after the 38.
And this is why aggressive defensive coordinators love to blitz. It wreaks havoc because they end up taking their attention to the blitzers, freed up the D lineman to make the play.
Here's the fullback, Zach Line. And he will have 1st down yardage as he's brought down at the 41. Give him 3 yards and a fresh set of downs.
3rd and inches, just turn around and hand it to the big guy and let him plow forward and pick up a 1st down. A lot of people think that the offensive line, they may almost take the play off because they got a big guy back there pushing forward. I think it actually works in reverse. I think they block harder because they love seeing that guy get the ball because he doesn't touch it very often.
At this point, I would not be concerned yet.
40. Ready? My base.
On 1st and 10, here's Brees. Throwing the comeback route. He's got the hook up to Thomas. And he'll be taken down across the 50 at the 45 in enemy territory. 14 yards is the pickup. 1st down, New Orleans. Brees now 6 for 6 since coming back out of the locker room. It's 1st and 10. Brees able to find the veteran Ginn. 7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch. They like going to him in the slot. He catches another one.
I think this comes under the heading of until they stop him, why not go back to him? He has something going really well. Great working relationship with the guy throwing the ball, and they keep making the connection.
Able to get 7 on that first down pass play. 2nd and 3. Now Breeze. Completes this one to Meredith. And he's going to be taken down with the first down at the Ravens' 27-yard line.
I think it all came together there. In-breaking route, drove it with excellent pace. Money throw right there to move the sticks.
And that was not so much identifying that to most Americans, that's what they think they will see. But the challenge is what third world leaders do. You put your forces out in the hot sun so they can run out and show the weapons and things like that. When bases see what they do in local communities.
Breeze now nearing the 300-yard mark with still a quarter to play. It's 1st and 10.
Delayed game offense.
He didn't even try to signal for a timeout, so they must have not been aware of the numbers.
I think he lost track of the time left in the play clock and probably was trying to read the defense and trying to figure out which play to run and just lost track, and it cost him.
Following the penalty, it's Kamara. He winds up getting only a couple there, down to the 29.
Well, they had that one snipped out. Excellent run blitz. Stopped that one for a short gain.
What makes a good run blitz a good run blitz?
The ability to stay on task, to follow up your assignment, go to the gap you're supposed to cover, and not be deterred by anything else.
And as they come to the line, they will not be able to get off another play as time has run out on this third quarter. We'll return with more after this. This is the NFL, and it's on EA Sports. Now on 2nd and 13. Breeze. This is caught by Ginn. And he'll take it into the end zone for the Saints touchdown.
God,
4 touchdown passes now for Drew Brees. And the Saints able to stretch that lead out further. They were still throwing with a comfortable lead here late, and now that lead even more comfortable.
And your first thought is there bad blood that went into this one ahead of time, that maybe they're seeking some revenge or they just don't like them?
Do what King did. Don't give anybody a reason to do something that will become escalatory. If I were a community leader, I would make sure that there's leadership at all places that do exactly what Jesse
him or him.
Andrew Young did to Martin Luther King Jr. We have a mission. We're protesting, protect each other. Don't give them a reason to go ahead and declare and show pictures of us as the aggressor and as the culprit. That's what I would tell you.
The other thing that always hits me is, are they worried about playoff positioning? Right? Are they worried about, do you need enough points in case there's a tiebreaker that comes into play later?
Lutz good on the extra point. And the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful. So that drives 7 plays in length. And it all culminates in a Saints touchdown.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hazelberg,
After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. And now here come the Ravens. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
Well, you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now for all the work he's getting.
And they work this well upfield across the 45. That good for 21 yards on the catch and run.
And this is why trying to cover the angle route is so difficult. Anyone playing the linebacker position, when they see a running back out of the backfield widen, because he heads towards the flat first, oftentimes you widen too much and overcommit. He cuts up inside, and that's what we saw there. A nice pickup for a first down.
A gain of 6 there on first. 6 yards was the pickup on the last completion, so here's 2nd and 4. Jackson. Throwing middle, but it's incomplete. He was trying to get it to Seth Roberts. And it's 3rd and 4. Now they face a 3rd down and 4 after that incompletion on 2nd down. Jackson will throw again. But he's got Snead. And he will have a first down here at about the 40. And they just keep marching right along. First down on a pickup of 8 there. So signs of life in what's been a dormant offense in this second half. Here's 1st and 10. Here's Jackson to throw. He goes underneath to Ingram. And they're able to get this one past the 30 to the 25-yard line. That's good for a Raven first down, 15 yards there.
Good route, good pickup for first down yardage, and that is a tough one to cover, the angle route, because a running back getting out of the backfield, if you're trying to cover that, especially if you're in the linebacker spot and you're seeing this play develop, he heads out towards the flat first, and that often gets you to overcommit running in that direction. Then he cuts back up inside you into the middle of the field. That's what we just saw there for a nice pickup.
So 2nd and inches after that first down completion went just shy of the marker. Here's Ingram. Absolutely nobody fooled there. He's going nowhere fast as he stopped behind the line of scrimmage.
We all have habits. We can be somewhat predictable, and you know me pretty well on 2nd down and short. What I like to see?
Play action.
Yeah, without a doubt. I thought that was a great spot to call it. Instead, didn't go their way, did it?
No, defense sold out for the run. Worked out well. Now a 3rd down throw, but it misses the target. Incomplete. At this point, down big, you'd have to imagine this defense are just going to sit back, blanket the field as best they can.
Yeah, this is actually the easy part of the game for them because, just as you noted, they can sit back, keep everything in front of them. But they've blanketed the field the entire game using a variety of coverages.
Well, with that field goal, you can argue they needed to get back within 2 scores, and they did indeed do that, but still a pretty uphill battle.
Still going to take 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns to get back into it. And as you and I know, that's a tall order against any NFL defense. They're going to need their own defense to make some plays as well to give them an opportunity.
Back out onto the field now comes the New Orleans offense. Now, there are 2 scores on the plus side. Still time here in this 4th quarter, but maybe you start thinking about playing keep away?
Yeah, I think here's the situation. You're not thinking touchdowns anymore. You're just thinking first downs. To keep up with your theme there, playing keep away, first downs, they can't touch the ball.
They'll break the huddle, come up on 2nd and 8 at the 27-yard line. Again, it's Kamara. Trying to find a lane, but instead he'll get back to the line of scrimmage. And no more. 2 runs in a row, but only 2 yards to show for it. They've called his number a lot this afternoon. You wonder how much tread is left on those tires.
We certainly do, but I always think back to one of my favorite coaches in the NFL. And he used to have a meeting with his running backs every year in the offseason and say, look, as many times as you're going to carry the ball, you should be able to carry it 1 more time, so make sure you get in shape.
Gets it to Meredith, complete. And he's taken down, but able to slip across the 35. The Saints first down there on a gain of 11. All the yards, completions, just another play that's a feather in the cap of the great career of Drew Brees.
And wasn't he supposed to be too small to be an effective quarterback in the NFL?
Yeah, how'd that work out?
Yeah, well, his footwork, I think, really sets him apart. Remember, he was a junior tennis champion, beat Andy Roddick, the future U.S. Open champion, back when they were in the juniors. I think that footwork really helps him be the great quarterback he is now.
So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. On the ground, Kamara. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8. Offensively with the lead, you want to run the ball, keep the clock going, but you also want to still kind of be in attack mode too, right? So how do you do that and not come back on your heels?
Yeah, think about all the practices we've watched where they have that tempo period to go over things just like this, where they describe the scenario, tell you what they're looking for, and make sure that they're still attacking, yet at the same time not going so fast as to leave too much time on the clock.
The last run good for 2. Here's 2nd and 8. They run it again with Kamara. 4 yards on the pickup there as it'll leave them with a 3rd and about 4 more for a 1st.
Bottom line, they want to keep this clock rolling, so they'll take that one right there. They just want to keep falling forward, and they want to put the onus on the big fellas up front in order to bring this one home.
Now we'll get a quick timeout called by New Orleans, number 2. That's going to leave them with just 1 remaining here in this 4th quarter.
Imagine having an AI system that doesn't just respond to your questions, but actively helps you strategize to discover new ways to increase your.
The Saints on 3rd down. They've been really good, converting 7 of their 10 tries. This is 3rd and 4. Running with Kamara. And he gets it down to the 48, enough for the 1st. They get the 1st. The decision to run on 3rd and medium winds up being a good one.
Do my eyes deceive me, or is he getting stronger as this game moves along?
Burst seems just as good here in the 4th as it was way back in the 1st, doesn't it?
I do believe someone put a lot of time in the offseason and continues to condition during the season in order to continue to carry the ball at this rate.
What's up, y'all? Look, fan base is more than a platform. It's a movement to empower creators everything people to invest in black-owned tech infrastructure and help shape the future of social media. Investing in technology is essential for creating long-term growth and.
So after the run by Kamara, now another 1st and 10. And he'll give it here to his running back. 2 yards on the carry there. It'll be 2nd down.
Well, partner, Marvin, our #1 stats guy just handed me a little card that says he has 97 yards on the ground today. You think he's going to get the ball again?
I think so. 3 away from that century mark. Got to have it.
Yeah, and I think what they're going to call is one of his favorite runs, whatever he feels comfortable with, and what the offensive line has executed well today to try and get him over 100 yards.
Now a handoff. Here's Kamara. And he'll get only a couple down to the 44.
I know the game's not over, but there's got to be a sense of satisfaction right now for the guy carrying the football a bunch today. 99 yards, and he has enough time to go over the century mark.
Well, you got to give it to him again, right?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. You're not worried about losing yardage here. You're not worried about any of that. You just want to get him to the promised land for every runner, 100 yards or more in a game.
On 3rd down, here's Kamara. And he gets this inside the 35-yard line. 10 yards, good for his Saints, 1st down.
He's still rumbling, isn't he? Still looking fresh in this one despite the heavy workload. But you and I both know, well-conditioned, and he did tell us that he thrives on being at his peak late in ball games.
All runs on this drive so far. It's 1st and 10. A give. This is Kamara. 9 yards is the pickup there, and they'll have a 2nd and 1.
Oh, that's one to warm the hearts of all those old-school football players, isn't it? Tough, hard, gritty run, got behind his pads, bowled over a few people. Look at that one, right up the gut.
So up through 3 quarters, no reason to lighten up now. The last run got 9. That leaves him with 2nd and a yard.
I'm going back to you. I'm going back to you.
And a give this time to the tailback. And they'll be inside the 25 now at the 24. 2 yards, good enough for a first. How about this offensive line? They're really starting to establish themselves, take over this game.
And before the series began, I know exactly what was said in the defensive huddle. Guys, we got to get no less than a 3-and-out. Let's get off the field. Instead, they can't find any traction towards doing that. Right now, they're just getting muscled all over the field and getting pushed down it.
Now a handoff here to his running back. And down inside the 15, shy of the 10. 12 yards there, good for a Saints first down. Starting to become a tough spot for this defense. You're down, fourth quarter, looking a little fatigued maybe on that side of the ball.
Partner, we've seen this before, haven't we? Because every coach we've ever talked to says body language is important. And now you're seeing guys with their hands on their hips, they're bent over, hands on their knees.
Ownership. At Fanbase, it's all for one and one for all. We support each other to guide, promote, and uplift you in a place where you can unapologetically be yourself. A place where your voice, ideas, and creativity are not just welcomed, but celebrated. We are Black.
The offensive guys are just saying, let's just keep running it at them. We've got them now.
Diverse, inclusive, powerful community that believes in the strength of authenticity and individual choice. Regardless of success or background, we welcome you. The marginalized.
Hey, ready? 5-8, 5-8.
The successful. The superstar. We for all to see the space to express themselves.
And he'll give it here to his running back. He'll get this down inside the 10 for a pickup of about 3. Able to stay in bounds, and the clock keeps rolling. And this defense right now backed up in the red zone. Another touchdown, it's over. They've got to stand tall quickly.
Been in this spot before. Now there's a little bit of desperation creeping in. And all you're doing when you're talking to your defensive teammates is, first guy there, hold him up. Second, third guy in, rake at the football. Get it out. We've got to create a turnover because one more score, and this game's over.
Going to give this time to the tailback. And a nice pickup there. He gets about 5 down to the 4-yard line. The recipe's pretty simple, I think, right? Just give your superstar the ball, continue to feed him.
Yeah, don't overthink this one, right? Make sure he's touching the football, but you're also counting on his intelligence in playing the game as well. If it's not there, don't force the run. Just make sure you hang on to the football and keep the clock ticking.
They go with a fullback line. He's not going to get there. That won't even be close. It was blown up in the backfield. He lost 2, and it brings up 4.
After playing like that, it should be congratulations all the way around, I think, because if you can stop a big fullback like that, that's not easily done.
Yeah, he does not go down easily. You're right, but he did there. Two minutes left to play in this football game here on EA Sports. So it's Saints football as we get you reset. And with things looking pretty good on the scoreboard, they're going to keep the offense out there and go for it here on 4th. Now a fake on the give here as they try to run pass option.
First down, nigga.
And now we'll see a timeout used on defense as they stop it
got
right
that
out
bit.
of the break with 1:57 to go in the ball game.
First and goal. Going again. Ted Ginn Jr. again.
Now to put this game on ice. This is 1st and goal. Now a fake on the give here as they try to run pass option. And he's got it. Touchdown, Saints. Ted Ginn there to make the grab. of them. And the Saints able to stretch that lead out further.
Is it okay if I break one of our rules, partner, which is to never call a game over until it's over? Because this certainly feels like it's over after that drive.
Yeah, that was spirit-crushing, wasn't it? And now you just kind of felt the air go out of the balloon.
Yeah, they were fighting so hard to stay in there, and they knew they had to stop them on that drive. But when they were unable to, I think you're exactly right. You could see them sag on their sideline, and I think this one might just be over.
So that, amazingly, a 17-play drive. And it ends with a touchdown for New Orleans. After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. That'll be taken in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. The Baltimore offense at the line, set to get going. They're down big here late. I don't know. You just one last drive here for pride.
Some people like to do that. I remember playing for a guy once. We were down huge, and someone said, "Coach, what do you want to call?" He just waved a hand like, "Who cares? Let's get out of here and do something some other time." But some teams like to do something at the end to feel a little bit better as they continue to move forward.
Yeah, probably just want to put this one behind them. The Raven passing game getting in sync. Another first down.
Not only have they completed a couple on this drive, but they peeled off some pretty good chunks of yardage, too.
Absolutely. Great start. 2 nice plays in the pass game. Now can they continue to feed off that? So line of scrimmage still at 39 on 2nd and 10. Here's Jackson throwing again. And his throw is incomplete. Trying to get it to Willie Snead there. And it's 3rd down. Now they face a 3rd and 10 after back-to-back incompletions. Jackson. He gets it to Brown. Complete. And he is into the end zone for a Baltimore touchdown. Hollywood Marquise Brown. 39 yards. And the Ravens get a bit closer. So the Ravens will keep the offense on the field as they're going to go for 2. They'll try and run with Ingram. And he is not going to get in here. So the decision to go for 2 does not pay off as they're unable to cut any further into their deficit. So the defense gets the stop. I know it's situation to situation, but who has more pressure there, offense or defense, when they go for 2?
I truly believe it's the defense has more pressure because the offense has an entire playbook wide open from the 2-yard line. You can run it, you can throw it. So defensively, I think most teams are going to be aggressive and force the issue and try and bring pressure.
Ready? Let's go, deep tight. Let's return.
Bree's going to throw here. Escaping the pressure right. And that's going to be incomplete. Too tough to hold on to that one. It's 2nd down.
They went with a dime look on defense. 2 extra defensive backs on the field. And
situations like that. What about the flu and possibly COVID? Once the winter comes around, all these things can happen and have a tremendous impact on the lives of individuals, a lot of Americans. And once again, there is no guarantee that another pandemic or something similar cannot
essentially happen. Every blade of grass that allowed them to disrupt the play.
So after the incompletion on first, now 2nd and 10. Breeze leaves this one with Kamara. And this winds up a gain of 4 to the 41. The Ravens going to use the 2nd of their timeouts as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the game. And they'll need to get to the 35 if they want to keep this drive going on 3rd down. Now a handoff here to his running back. And he's going to get this inside the 30. Ravens going to use their 3rd and final timeout as they'll stop it with 40 seconds remaining in this 4th quarter. And he'll give it here to his running back. And I think this defense knew what was coming as he is smothered behind the line. That's going to go as a loss of a yard, and it'll be 2nd down. Charles, why didn't they just take the knee there?
You're asking the question that I'm asking as well, because we've seen a lot of football where coaches decide maybe they get a little greedy. I don't know if they're doing it for stats or for what reason. We've seen it happen in college. And how about in the NFL? The miracle of the Meadowlands. All they had to do was take a knee and the game was over. The Giants ran it one more time. Ball popped free. Philadelphia picks it up and wins the game.
What year was that?
1978. I think it was in November.
Charles, it's one thing to win. It's another thing to win and put up the amount of points that they did. Boy, were they clicking on offense.
They can't help but feel great about themselves, can they? I mean, what a game to put up that number of points, continually feeling like they're moving the ball and things are working and clicking. They think that they can bottle this and carry it with them.
And as an offensive coordinator, you just don't think you can do anything wrong. Whatever you call, run, pass, it's all going to work.
That's called being in the zone.
So that'll do it for us. For my partner, Charles Davis, and all the hard-working men and women on our crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL right here on EA Sports. From Baltimore, so long, everybody.
It must be embarrassing to Chancellor Merz was in there today, and I love how petty he was. He presents Trump a certificate of his grandfather being a German citizen. You know that was him trying to let his ass know you were tethered. You are you are immigrant child. Listen to this, y'all.
This is the birth certificate of Donald Trump's grandfather, born in 1869, President Bush. That's what serious label Clinton. That's serious. Just serious. That's serious. But that kind of serious too. But I want to thank you very much for this one. Thank you for that. We'll put it up in the place of love. You know damn well he ain't like being reminded your ass, your family really ain't from here. But to show you how stupid, how really stupid this man is. Y'all, I don't mean like casual stupid. I mean Donald Trump really is a stupid individual. He made this crap about D-Day coming up. It's substance. Do y'all understand what would happen if Biden or Obama had been insulted, an American ally like this dumbass did? If the German chancellor had to respond to him in a nice, cordial way, I'm sitting across from the dumbass. Listen to this. I'm here, Mr. President, to talk with you later on how we could contribute to that goal. We all are looking for measures and for instruments to bring this terrible war to an end. And may I remind you that we are having June 6th tomorrow. This is D-Day anniversary, when the Americans once ended the war in Europe. And I think this is in your hand in specific, in ours.
That was not a pleasant day for you.
No, that was not a pleasant day. In the long run, Mr. President, this was the liberation of my country from Nazi dictators. And we know what we owe. But this is the reason why I'm saying that America is again in a very strong position to do something about this war and ending this war. So let's talk about what we can do jointly, and we are ready to do what we can. You know that we gave support to Ukraine, and that we are looking for more pressure on Russia. The European Union did, and we should talk about that.
We will talk about that.
Yeah.
You know, it's good.
No, but you don't sit here and say, what a good day for y'all. That wasn't a good day for you. This man is uncool. No.
Uncool is a very nice way of wording. I think Chancellor Merz was very composed. He was very European in the way that, he schooled Donald Trump on multiple things. And I just want to point out, Donald Trump mentioned, a very German name like Durkheim. If he knows anything about Emil Durkheim, which I probably doubt he was talking about, just FYI, he was French. But I'm going to go back to Merz and that comment. It just shows that Trump is a very ignorant man. He's very unintelligent. He is not a curious person. He's not interested in learning. Probably, I can't say for the first time we have someone in the Oval Office. I mean, there have been some American presidents who just aren't curious. They just sit there and occupy the office. But he tries to come off as intelligent. You know what I mean? It's like the person who tries to seem a certain way, and they try to impress you, and you can see right through it. But enough is enough. I mean, the way that this man continuously embarrasses the entire country in the Oval Office, I literally just read something that said that the United States has that our reputation is less favorable in China. The first time in history this has happened. So things like this has real consequences. When you have someone in the Oval Office who doesn't know what they're talking about in terms of international affairs, global history, foreign policy, all of these things have consequences, and that's what I'm really concerned about. As we talked about the travel bans earlier, again, these things have consequences. These countries, and I want to talk about Afghanistan specifically, and then I'm done.
Well, actually, hold on 1 second. I'm going to come back to that in a moment. I want to go to Robert here on that particular point. A toddler is really sitting there. I mean, you don't insult an ally. Man, what a good day for y'all.
Well, second, I come to the nation with Robert. This was an accident, only wasn't being done over the news. The chancellor made a power play on Trump, and that was his payback. He was being petty as normal. Trump's grandfather, Friedrich Wundt, was actually born in 1869 in Bavaria. What was going on during the period of time? Going through the German unification of Otto von Bismarck. After 1,000 years of the Holy Roman Empire, and then the Confederation of the North Rhine under Napoleon, you had a system where Germany had ultranationalism that was unifying together, and therefore you had a series of wars that Friedrich Wundt was born into. When he reached the age of 20 in 1889, he decided he was going to leave and immigrate to America. He was a draft dodger. He was trying to avoid conscription into the Bavarian army to serve the German government at the exact same time that Hitler was being born. This comes into play later. So when we talk about the Trump relationship to the Germans, he's not coming from a place of simply not knowing their history, but knowing their history all too well. His grandfather was a German ultranationalist. He was born into the same political thinking of Adolf Hitler. He was on the same side of the argument as Hitler at that point, as Hitler was at that point in time. So we are looking at President Trump's opinion of what he says is opposition, who now leads the German government. When he says that wasn't a good day for you, he was essentially saying that the wrong guy won the war. We need to realize these things are not happening in a vacuum. We keep saying he's dumb enough to beat the entire Republican Party, dumb enough to become president of the United States, dumb enough to get to be accused of hundreds of years worth of felonies and $billions worth of debt, dumb enough to get himself elected again and take over essentially the world government. Yeah, maybe he is as dumb as you think. We need to realize that he was in this place.
Well, he is dumb. He can be dumb, and a lot of Americans can be dumb, and the Republican Party can all be dumb. And then he let them fool in the Oval Office. The issue of Russia and Ukraine did come up here, Nolan. And again, this is where the German chancellor had to educate this fool about this very issue, because as I played earlier, he's trying to say, hey, we can do more to actually end this war. Listen.
You later on how we could contribute to that goal. And we all are looking for measures and for instruments to bring this terrible war to an end. And may I remind you that we are having June 6th tomorrow. This is the 10th anniversary when the Americans once ended the war in Europe. And
say that because we see what happened in Afghanistan. The wars finally drawn this thing to a close. The German chancellor is sitting there saying, okay, I need you to step the hell up. But you don't want to do that because, frankly, Trump spends more time crapping on Zelensky in Ukraine because he's literally in Putin's pocket.
Yeah, 1,000%. And I just want to, clarify something. I actually don't think Donald Trump is dumb. And I'm using my words very specifically when I said I think he's ignorant and uncurious. I actually don't think it's that deep with him. My entire dissertation is about Trump. I am a Trump watcher. I understand his words. I study them. I understand what he does know, the things that he's interested in, and it's not very much. So if he has a deep understanding of international relations regarding Germany's history like that, I would be absolutely 1,000% surprised. I think the things that he's good at bullying, right? He's good at playing a version of the dozens, but I just don't think that there is a lot of substance there. And to the point of rushing Ukraine in a way that Chancellor Merz brought in the fact that, hey, America stepped in, and this is how this day was won. Because America stepped in, they stepped up and did what needed to be done. And what I also also think that the chancellor is getting at is we just can't sit on the sidelines. Like today, Trump had made a comment about sometimes you just got to let them fight it out. Well, actually, no. In this particular situation, they have been fighting it out for years. And how do I know that? Because I have been talking about it from day one. I don't think that he has any interest, again, going back to his uncurious nature, to the fact that he doesn't even want daily briefings. He just doesn't have the interest to be a president of the United States.
Like I said, that boy dumb. That boy dumb.
I mean,
we already know he can't read.
I just think he's ignorant. I mean,
Okay, fine. You can call it ignorant. You can call it, what's your other one? Uncurious or whatever. You can be ignorant, uncurious. That boy dumb. Joe Madison always said you gotta put it where the ghost can get it. Make it plain. That boy is dumb. And let's be real clear. Only a white man / orange man in America could get to the point where he is, because you know what? White folks in this country bought his BS. Treated the presidency, treated the campaign like it was the apprentice, and these fools actually believe he was a successful businessman. They fell for the okie doke, and now they are and now they are complaining, and they word the people like Congressman Robert Kelly, can y'all help me? And again, they real nice. That's why every time I see one of these folks get sent back to the country and they say, I supported Trump, I go, thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers.
Yeah.
Every time I see one of these folks who got fired, who think job, they go, I supported Trump, I go, thoughts and prayers. I have absolutely no sympathy for them, because we all told them it was all there, and they still voted for that dumb, uncouth, ignorant, unserious fool. That's who he is.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The window to invest in Fanbase is closed. We've raised over $10.6 million of our $17 million goal. That means there's room for less than 6,370 people to invest in Fanbase for the average amount. The minimum to invest in Fanbase right now is $399. That makes you an owner in Fanbase today. Go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. Why? Because current social apps have taken advantage of users for far too long, with content suppression, shadow banning, harmful racist content, and no real tools for monetization and equity. Fanbase has over 1.4 million users and counting, allowing anyone to reach all their following and monetize their content from day one. Social media is the new TV, and whoever owns an app that distributes that content will have the opportunity to own potential billion-dollar companies. While big platforms with uncertain futures are failing to serve their users, Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now, invest in yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/Fanbase and own the next generation of social media.
These people are just idiots, Reese. They are idiots. But I need everybody watching to understand, this is not a game. Project 2025 is what I call a 100-year document. It is a document, it is an agenda that they want to lock down and ram through, because when this nation becomes a nation that's majority people of color in 2043, and with the dwindling birth rates of white people in this country, what these fascists today desperately want is they want America never to look like South Africa. They like, no, oh no, y'all ain't about to. Us, we white folks have rewritten the history of this. We've written the history of this country in a way for us. I talk about when I went up on the History Channel and that bullshit docu-series where they kept talking about Texas independent and never mentioned what they were trying to be independent of, which is they wanted to keep slavery. These people have written history in their own mind. Their whole deal is, if we can strip this nation bare, I mean strip it bare of race, strip it bare of history, then we can restore this purity of whiteness and the defining standard of what America is. I tried to lay this out in my book, White Fear, and all of these mainstream media folk, all of these show hosts, people who I sent books to, they were afraid to book me on the shows because they are living in denial about the white fear that is happening before our very eyes in America. I'll go to you first, Miss.
Yeah, I mean, these people are stupid. They're dumbasses, but they are very insidious. They're very strategic. And so they have been very clever in how they've gone about this by enlisting the bigotry within each of these communities that will never benefit from white people. But they don't like this person. They don't like that person. They don't like that person. Okay, they, whatever it is, that's what I like about justice in front of people to get more, to get the power of the people. Who wants to cancel everything for everybody? White, white, great, crypto nationalists still there. They're willing for everybody to do the dirty work to be the mules of their white supremacy, but only so many people are going to benefit from it. And they have the power. I mean, let's look at every single metric. White people have the power. They have the most wealth. They have the most power. They have the most disproportionate positive impact and results from every aspect of this society. But what they also want is the violence. That's what I think this is really all about. That's why they want to glamorize the Confederacy. Because now is a time where white people are, certain white people, violently revolting against the humanity of enslaved people, against the system that disenfranchised violently and stripped people of their humanity, and women, by the way. They violently revolt. Now they lost. They get attention to their choices. But now it's been romanticized in a way that they're trying to signal to us. They want to see that green light again. That's why one of the first orders of business of Trump was to pardon the DC cop that killed a black person. That's why they are dismantling these consent decrees. And they're undoing things. That's why they're doing personally out the country. They want the violence. Want to violence again. Republicans win. Simply off disinformation, half the country's already checked out. They didn't give damn that a man who had 35 convictions was running. But all of these things are running with 25, by the way, 14 convictions already. They didn't even need to look at their numbers to come out if they're done. That's why. Permanently influential power, responsibility, violently rule over this country.
Zamora.
I think everything that everyone is saying is so important. We know that they have the highest numbers of individuals in jail. What they want is it seems that black individuals are the individuals that are there. People of color are immigrants are the individuals that are doing all of the crime. But we know that's not the truth. They want to romanticize our history while sitting comfortably in their fragility and entitlement. And us as black people not taking accountability and understanding that if it's happening to our Latino brothers and sisters, we are in it. We can't sit by, be quiet, ignore the things that are happening every day, not participate in the ways that we can. I'm not saying martyr ourselves, but I am saying we have a responsibility to stand up, to fight, and not be quiet. It's time for that is over, so assume that it's okay. Not hold the people around us accountable, not let them know how their lack of knowledge and inability to hold themselves accountable and hold our family members accountable is impacting us and impacting our immigrants. A place where
DEI hire that is the Secretary of the Army, Daniel Driscoll, saying that the United States Army is built for moments like this debacle is about to happen here in the District of Columbia this Saturday. Might want to remember, well, he won't because he's a DEI hire, but General Mathis, I'm sure may have got an invitation to be there. It'll be interesting to see if these next Army guys show up. But remember when Jim Mathis was Secretary of Defense in 2017, and Trump wanted to run the streets of D.C. with these heavy-ass tanks and running down the streets. And Mathis said, quote, I would rather swallow acid than do that. Well, now there's a DEI hire, Daniel Driscoll, in charge of the Army, and he will do it. Another DEI hire, a man famous for being a day drunk and being abusive to women. Of course, his major qualification, given the diversity, equity, and inclusion of whiteness, is his white maleness to be the Secretary, in fact, of Defense, Pete Hegseth. For him to troll and to carry out this trolling of renaming these ships, the Harriet Tubman, the Mary Wiley Evers, as you say, and then to replace Robert E. Lee and, of course, the clown, whose brain is clearly out, is not well maintained, to seep out of his orange mouth the other day. You're renaming everything the Robert E. Lee. Okay, you didn't even remember to keep up the cosplay of the brother who you're swapping the name out for, because you're not swapping out the name, and this is the point. They are trolling us. We must stay focused. We must stay focused on the fact that they're going to try now to throw everybody off their health care, as many as they can. They couldn't repeal Obamacare one way, so now defunding it is their strategy. They couldn't go after the Inflation Reduction Act, Joe Biden, so now their way to do it is to starve it with this big BS bill. That is the major thing in front of us right now. Confronting folks in the streets, weaponizing the National Guard, sending active military into the streets, all of that will not pass constitutional muster, and it will be sorted out. In the meantime, trolling, putting your hands on United States senators, trolling, changing names on votes, trolling, all of that is pursuant to the strategy that Steve Bannon said years ago. Throw everything against the wall, keep them responding, crisis, crisis, crisis. It's like cats chasing a flashlight beam. If we stay focused, we will be able not only to survive this, but to transcend it. We have to stay focused, and we have to stay engaged. You're right, Roland. What we're going to see all over this country on Saturday in terms of this No More Kings piece, it's simple enough. It's like a meme, no more Kings, 3 words, and that is going to look like a drop in the bucket. As week after week, month after month, the protests get larger, the people get more involved, and I'll end with this. I'm not calling for this. I hope it doesn't happen, but ask yourself what would happen if they put their hands on your mother, on your baby, on your husband or wife. Ask what would happen if they bust in the 6th grade class and snatch your nephew, and you will have the answer to what some of these charged up on DEI white supremacy boys and the Negroes who follow them are going to face when they put their hands on the right one. And at that point, you have all the ingredients for an explosion. God only knows what happens after that.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The window to invest in Fanbase is closing. We've raised over $10.6 million of our $17 million goal. That means there's room for less than 6,370 people to invest in Fanbase for the average amount. The minimum to invest in Fanbase right now is $399. That makes you an owner in Fanbase today. Go to startington.com/Fanbase to invest. Why? Because current social apps have taken advantage of users for far too long. Content suppression, shadow banning, harmful racist content, and no real tool for monetization and equity. Fanbase has over 1.4 million users accounted, allowing anyone to reach all their following and monetize their content from day one. Social media is the new TV, and whoever owns the apps that distribute their content have the opportunity to own potential billion-dollar invest in early-stage startups without having to be accredited investors. So right now, I'd like you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest. The minimum to invest is $399. Go and get you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase right now, today. And then use Fanbase to connect with friends, grow your audience, and be without limits.
Remember what Governor Greg Abbott did when there were protests on the campus of the University of Texas? He sent Texas Department of Safety state troopers. Remember they were pushing and shoving in riot gear. So what they want to do is they absolutely want to intimidate protesters. But here's why the protests are working. Governor Gavin Newsom fought place where they were raiding all of those fields in California, chasing folks out. He arrested this one man and one woman, stranding their child. The child has no other family in the country. Put a truck through that in Oval Office. Pull back on the raiding of the fields. You know why? Ain't no workers. Uh-oh, who's gonna pick crops? So Newsom did a video. He said, keep the protest up, just work, you can do it peacefully. And that's the deal. The way you combat these thugs is you have to unleash massive protests nationwide. If you start blocking and shutting down Wall Street, highways, and all sorts of different things, these people have to see a full force. And I absolutely hope that this Latinos, y'all just got y'all wake up call. All y'all trying ass Cubans who voted for Trump, now y'all shedding all these tears. This is not what we voted for. Yes, it is. All of Venezuelans in Florida back Trump, y'all were making songs and singing. This is their wake-up call. Let's see if they go home.
You know, I've said it before on the show, and they ain't and everybody gets one. Even Elon Musk might even write a song after that and flag by Donald Trump. So the reality is this: they have to step up. They have considerable political power. To be fair, a majority of Latinos did vote for Kamala Harris. They did not vote for this. I know that everybody is trying to flip the numbers now and say, well, this is what you wanted. There are certain demographics within the Latino community, particularly Cubans, who are supporting Trump. But most, like, especially in Los Angeles, California, where the right people out there, so they do not vote. But the reality is we are seeing that when they get activated, that they can change narratives and change the conversation. I don't care who's from. I grew up, so I know how they organized many a times in California when that community was under assault. And so I want everybody to fight because it is going to take action. This cannot wait until 2026 when the next elections happen. If we have to, this is always going to be resolved through some sort of civil disobedience or some sort of mass movement. And I applaud everybody who's out there who is putting themselves on the line, who is helping organize, whether it's behind the scenes or in front of the scenes, because we have to send the message that we are not going to go down without a fight. And if we can do that peacefully, even better. Because the reality is, the wrong people got the most guns. Okay? Because last I checked, we ain't got too many black militias, Latino militias and shit. All that's on the Republican mad crazy ass side of it. And so, yeah, let's, as long as we can, try to put some fear in them through nonviolent protest.
show. So when I spoke today at the 32nd annual Juneteenth celebration, a sister came up to me and she said, hey, you know the professor, she wanted me to give you this book. And this is perfect. Let me show y'all this. Her name is Gloria Brown, which is a new book out. We're going to be doing an interview. Trust me, y'all, none of this was planned. We're going to be doing an interview with her. So, a young lady came up to me today and handed me this book. And it's a perfect time. The book is called A Protest History of the United States. And she lays out, it says here, protest is primal and multifaceted. In A Protest History of the United States, Gloria J. Brown Marshall shines a bright light on this nation's past and present, revealing protest's crucial role. That's a reason, Greg, it was called the First Amendment. That's a reason, the right to assert, the freedom of expression. There is a reason it is in the First Amendment. And these right-wingers, they adore the second. They can't stand the first. Except when they want to protest, or they want to lead an insurrection on January 6th. Absolutely. Did she sign it, bro? No. So Gloria wasn't there. So she gave it to a young lady. She came up to me after my speech. She said, hey, she wanted you to have this. She's been on your show before. And I was like, all right, cool. So she handed me the book. It's like literally off the presses. The book, it went on sale April 22nd. And so it says this comprehensive history traverses over 4 centuries of American descent, weaving together legal analysis, historical documentation, personal memoir, and interviews with those who have taken a stand. And I just think that, look, where we are right now is so simple. This is how we fight back against these fascists and these thugs of Donald Trump, Stephen Miller, Tom Homan, and others.
Absolutely. And the reason I asked you is because I was hoping maybe I would get a chance to see my colleague Gloria Brown Marshall last night. She's at John Jay, professor of constitutional law and Africana studies at John Jay College. And I would have, if I had thought about it in advance, I would have stuck my copy of the book in my bag. I already got that book. So now that means you can keep that one and walk off. I know you already have it. Anyway, yeah, this not Jane Elliott pulling a trade book out of her bag. That's a book that I would have had immediately. I did initially get that book. It's a different kind of book. And to your point, particularly the chapter when she writes over the slaves of 4th of July, dealing with Frederick Douglass. First of all, we've been here before, as we know, and not exactly this way. But if Fred Douglass and Ida Wells and Harriet Tubman and Mariah Stewart and David Walker could face down the situations they face down, certainly we can do no less here. But you're raising Roland, I think, again, spot on as always here in this space, that we have to fight. While we've been on the air, Stephen Breyer's younger brother, Charles Breyer, has been in district court in San Francisco giving holy hell to the government's lawyers around this question of whether or not Trump can deploy a federalized state over the National Guard. They haven't even gotten to the issue of whether you can send active duty military in. And you heard the general talk about posse comitatus. You can't do it. It's not going to last. But when Judge Breyer, as we've been on the air, said during the arguments, tracking it, it's coming through, and I know you're tracking it as well, he said that's not what we live. He lived in response to a monarch. This country was founded in response to the monarch. He said the Constitution is a document of limitations. They're going to bump up against the full confrontation with the Constitution. And of course, we heard General Milley say the military take over to defend the Constitution of the United States, not a person, not even the country. And it comes down to this very serious confrontation that's going to test whether or not there will be a country that continues. When we saw Tim Walz from Minnesota, when we saw J.B. Pritzker from Illinois, when we saw Kathy Hochul from New York, when we hear Gavin Newsom from California, what is going to be tested is the concept of federalism. When Gavin Newsom says maybe we should just stop paying taxes. And at that point, the elderly who were in Missouri, but they now decided to send their troops out. The elderly who are in Mississippi and Alabama, and they're going to be in trouble. Why? Because y'all are all welfare recipients in those states from the people like New York, like Illinois, like Minnesota, certainly California, one of the largest economies in the world if you took it out of the United States. And Canada is saying, allow California, come on with us, come to that road. We might be looking at the heating up of what has been a cold civil war since the end of the hot one in the 1860s. But guess what? It was going to come down to this anyway. This No More Kings protest, all these cities and counting, is only going to get larger. You know what beats back fascism? The people. The most powerful element in the history of humanity is humanity. So I don't care whether you're 8 eyes and saying that these people don't have anything to do with it. I don't care if you're the would-be radical who want to say that if you're not ideologically aligned with me 110%, I'm not going to organize with you. It's time to put aside all those things and understand we are facing a real fascist threat that we can overcome. And the good sister Gloria Brown Marshall gives us a map of how every time fascism has raised its ugly face, the people have risen up to oppose it, and that's the only reason we can have the conversation we're having today.
It is indeed the only reason, and what we have to understand is that we can never ever forget our history. 62 years ago on this day, Medgar Evers, leader of the NAACP Mississippi, assassinated in his driveway. His wife, Pearlie Evers, having to witness him die in her arms. His children having to witness that. But here we are, 62 years later, having to witness these Trump idiots try to strip his name from a Navy vessel. Pete Hegseth had announced they were removing the names of 8 vessels. There were 8 vessels named after actors. Among them, Cesar Chavez, Harvey Milk, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Harriet Tubman. And Hegseth wants to rebrand these against workers and diversity. Now, let's be real clear. Let's be real clear. This is the same man who served in the army, Medgar Evers. But this is the second time they've done that. Now remember, they removed his name from their website of the Arlington National Cemetery, which featured a section African American Park. Now they had to restore that because they got attacked. This is what Freeman Evers said. Rename the USNS Medgar Evers is not only malicious but despicable. As my brother said, this is an injustice to a man who fought for his country both at home and abroad. Again, what they're angry about, they don't want this story of these freedom fighters to be told. Even the little games they're playing with restoring the Confederate names of the military bases Donald Trump's actually. But what they're doing is they are finding the same names. Well, so for instance, Fort Robert E. Lee, they went and found a black private whose last name was Lee because they are hell-bent on it still being called Fort Lee. So they're looking around for same names, but they're calling the military records. They're trying to do that.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The window to invest in Fanbase is closing. We've raised over $10.6 million of our $17 million goal. That means there's room for less than 6,370 people to invest in Fanbase for the average amount. The minimum to invest in Fanbase right now is $399. That makes you an owner in Fanbase today. Go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. Why? Because current social apps have taken advantage of users for far too long. With content suppression, shadow banning, harmful racist content, and no real tools for monetization and equity. Fanbase has over 1.4 million users and counting, allowing anyone to reach all their following and monetize their content from day one. Social media is the new TV, and whoever owns the app that distributes that content has an opportunity to own potential billion-dollar companies. While big platforms like certain YouTubers are failing to serve their users, Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now, invest with yourself and your future. Go to startington.com/fanbase and own the next generation of social media.
It's an idiot that's in the White House. You know that he hires Carolyn Levitt, big time liar, White House official. And boy, she's a straight lie. Live proposal regarding the reporting of BBC. And they did a brutal fact check on this story. When I saw it, I said, we gotta roll it. On Tuesday, White House Press Secretary Caroline Levitt was asked about the report that Israeli forces have killed Palestinians near an aid distribution centre in Gaza. Her reply was an attack on the BBC and was repeatedly false.
We don't take the word of Hamas with total truth. We like to look into it when they speak. Unlike the BBC, who had multiple headlines, they wrote, Israeli tank kills 26, Israeli tank kills 21, Israeli gunfire kills 31, Red Cross says 21 people were killed in an aid incident, and then, oh wait, they had to correct and take down their entire story, saying we reviewed the footage and couldn't find any evidence of anything.
This contains a mix of misrepresentations and untruths. When speaking, Caroline Levitt held up a printout which showed a post on X by a student activist, its focus and hers, with the BBC's coverage on Sunday. Residents have reported Israeli fire near an aid centre. Over the course of the day, BBC repeatedly updated its coverage, as is standard on a breaking news story, updating claims on fatalities or all clearly attributed to a number of sources in Gaza, including the Red Cross, which is an independent organisation. Also note this is standard when a story is evolving and details are hard to confirm. It's also a necessary aspect of covering this conflict, given Israel doesn't allow international news organisations into Gaza. During the press conference, Caroline Levitt also had this particular criticism.
Unfortunately, unlike some in the media, we don't take the word of Hamas with total truth.
The BBC News didn't do that. It did quote the Hamas-run health ministry with clear attribution. The ministry, which is part of the Hamas-controlled government, is the main source of official information when it comes to casualties in Gaza. The BBC also reported statements it received from the Israel Defense Forces, which called the reports false and urged the media to be cautious. Caroline Levitt also made this claim.
They had to correct and take down their entire story, saying we reviewed the footage and couldn't find any evidence of anything.
This isn't true. The BBC didn't take down any of its coverage of the story. The articles remain online. And Caroline Levitt attributed this false claim to what she called a review footage. That appears to be a reference to this BBC Verified live page post, but looked at a widely shared video that some were claiming showed events near the aid centre. Using geolocation, BBC Verified confirmed that the video actually showed a different event, several kilometres away. This wasn't a BBC video being assessed, it wasn't a retraction, it wasn't a BBC admission of error. The live page post had been highlighted by the same ex-account Caroline Levitt had referenced. It misrepresented what BBC Verify had done. The White House then repeated the misrepresentation. For its part, the BBC says it stands by its journalism and has called once again to be allowed access to Gaza. Having made this range of false claims, Caroline Levitt had a further point to make.
We're going to look into reports before we confirm them from this podium, before we take action, and I suggest that journalists who actually care about truth do the same to reduce the amount of misinformation that's going around the world on this front.
But in this case, either the White House didn't look into its claims about the BBC before bringing them to the podium, or had no concern if they weren't true. How arrogant can you be, Caroline Levitt, to stand up there? We're going to check things first, when you didn't even check a Twitter account that advanced a lie. These people are despicable. I keep telling y'all how trifling they are, and she is the chief liar. And just because she's convincing lying does not make her right. Oh, she is a convincing liar. Oh, she speaks with an authoritative voice. She is confident in her line, but Caroline Levitt is a damn liar. That's what she is, Michael.
Oh, absolutely. And she is the spokesperson for the
Man, she's up here speaking, representing for Mr. 200 trade deals. Donald Trump who claimed they made 200 trade deals in the last few months, okay? Where is that? And then it's commonplace when you have a breaking news story. I've been in media 15 years, okay? It's commonplace when you have a breaking news story to constantly update the news story as you get more information. That's why when we're on live, you refresh your screen multiple times for breaking news stories. So this is what the BBC did, but I'm glad they put this fact check out. Hopefully that fact check goes viral, okay, to hold her accountable. And this is what you have to do with liars like this. Use their position in the government to perpetuate false information.
Tying up the info of this video, like about this trade deal. That was this on Fox News, one of these trade. If you want to laugh about this here, hold on one second, find the video. Because Bill Hemmer was entering one of these buying rules with Trump's administration. And the guy was talking about the trade deals. And, we're going to do signing these. And Bill Hemmer was like, okay, well, can you name one? And the guy was like, I can't do that right now. These people really are insane. Matter of fact, I found a video of it. Now listen, I was like, but, they've been telling us now for weeks, they got 70,000 companies. They got 1,000 companies. 1,000 companies trying to make judgments. You trade them, you name one. No, I can't name one. But it's happening. Listen to this, y'all.
If anyone, as of today.
You mean who goes first in terms of countries?
In a new deal, correct.
Yeah, so there's a number of deals in the works for trading partners, particularly in Asia and in Europe as well. And, I expect that these deals to come out in a flurry as we get closer to the deadline. Some may come out very soon, but I expect there to be a flurry as we get closer to the deadline because of the process in which these deals are proceeding, where there's steps that everyone is taking to move the deal forward. And those steps are designed to yield success around the time of the deadline.
I'm just suddenly interrupt. Every time we do these segments, I'm just trying to find the name of the country. Who will be first in line? Can we say today which country that will be?
I cannot. I'm not.
Well, screaming socialist.
I can't. Darling, I can't name one.
And I think that in itself tells how we are the laughing stock of the world. We got the press secretary and folks that are supposed to be leading our country can't even name a country of that instance, or even tell the truth behind the press secretary's desk. And I think it just shows how fragile our democracy is and how of a laughing stock we are. And elections have consequences. And it's sad to see what we're looking at. We are a laughing stock.
These folks lie and lie and lie, man. They just lie.
They do, but what's scary is they lied enough and created an environment enough where people don't believe things or don't have critical thinking, right? The idea that the BBC would continuously update its coverage with new information should be something that is understood, right? Just simply, that's how it works in journalism, just as far as I can tell. You get new information, you update it. But to characterize it as though they were wrong all the times before is part and parcel with the kind of disinformation and the kind of attack on truth and creation of alternative facts that we've seen them do since the first Trump administration. And it's effective to the group of people that they're talking to in making them question everything. It's really ridiculous. And frankly, it is part and parcel with exactly what we saw with COVID. During COVID, I remember being baffled that there wasn't like a basic understanding of the scientific method. You remember during that time, Fauci would get on TV and say, we've learned this one thing, it's changed our position or our opinion, we're now thinking this. Well, it was characterized like that was emblematic of them not being good scientists, rather than that being part of how science works. You give you evidence, you change your position. So, similar to that, this is the kind of thing that you see. You see attack on truth and the attack on the evolution of information via
what's reported. So, I mean, it's sad that it's coming out of the White House, an officially sanctioned part of our United States government that should be giving people good information, but it's part and parcel of what Trump has done since the first time he was in office.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The window to invest in Fanbase is closed. We raised over $10.6 million of our $17 million goal. That means there's room for less than 6,370 people to invest in Fanbase for the average amount. The minimum to invest in Fanbase right now is $399. That makes you an owner in Fanbase today. Go to startengine.com/Fanbase to invest. Why? Because current social apps have taken advantage of users for far too long, with content suppression, shadow banning, harmful racist content, and no real tools for monetization and equity. Fanbase has over 1.4 million users and counting, allowing anyone to reach all their following and monetize their content from day one. Social media is the new TV, and whoever owns the apps that distribute their content has the opportunity to own potential billion-dollar companies. While big platforms with uncertain futures are failing to serve their users, Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now, invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/Fanbase and own the next generation of social media.
What's up, y'all? Well, Fanbase is more than a platform. It's a movement to empower creators of everything from investing, platform, tech, infrastructure, and education. Investing in technology is essential for long-term wealth and influence for the digital age. The Black community must not only consume tech, we must own it. Discover how equity crowdfunding can serve as a powerful tool for funding Black businesses, allowing entrepreneurs to raise capital directly through their community through the Jobs Act.
Millions of Americans, especially Black women, Medicaid is more than just a program. It is a lifeline. It covers nearly 40% of all births in the U.S. Often the only access to care that mothers have. Federal law guarantees just 60 days of postpartum coverage, and in states that have expanded Medicaid, that coverage can disappear right where the mother needs the most. Now, Congress took a step forward, making it permanent for states to extend that coverage to a full year. Not every state has signed on. Now, a Republican-backed House budget brings to slash Medicaid by $880 billion. Now, what's crazy is that they still swear they're not trying to cut Medicaid, but everything says they are trying to cut Medicaid. Illinois Congresswoman Robin Kelly joins us in the studio. Glad to have you back here. And that's the thing that cracks me up. Like, I've seen interviews on other networks. I've seen speeches. We're not trying to cut Medicaid. I mean, the speaker, I'm about to clip Speaker Mike Johnson. Democrats, they're just lying. That's not what we're doing. So what the hell are they doing there?
Well, I was in the 26.5-hour markup in Energy and Commerce, and I'm on the Healthcare Subcommittee. That is what they're doing. They're lying, like you said. Speaker Johnson becomes Mr. Christian man, and then he's defending, the most beautiful man, I think, on earth. And it's just absolutely ridiculous. No, they're cutting. And in my district alone, out of 750,000 people, 300,000 people who need their health care. Right next door to me, Jonathan Jackson, I think about 260,000. So just our two districts alone, almost 600,000 people will lose their health care.
We actually played a clip during that markup of one of the CDC members who was literally reading on how many people in each Republican district had Medicaid, and it was anywhere from 20 to 40%.
Oh, their districts, their people will lose more than ours.
Because they represent a lot of pro-white people. See, the reason I can't put it that way, because anytime we talk about poverty in this country, people automatically think black. But the reality is, the Republican Party represents a lot of good white people.
My district is rural. Yeah, I have 4,500 farms in the district, so you are correct. Where folks will lose more than us, but
So how do you get them to understand that? Because it trips me out anytime election comes around, and you will see these folks who will challenge black folks. Dems ain't done nothing for y'all. Why you voting for your futures? And I'm sitting there going, West Virginia is the brokest, most illiterate, federally dependent state in the solid red. And I'm like, they vote against their interest every single election.
Mississippi.